character in Their Blood named Robbie Ivy, who I love. She is just this take-charge, hyper-competent young woman who helps Jeremy try to find his parents' murderer. I thought, I'm going to use Robbie. Now, just so you know, when I first started writing In Their Blood, I never imagined it would have a sequel. So Someone's Watching isn't truly a sequel. It shares some of the characters, but the books can be read independent of each other. Well, here I had Robbie. I didn't know a lot about her, and you don't either, those of you who have read the book. We know she's from Boston. We know that her mom died when she was younger, but we don't know much more about her family, and we don't know her wound. A protagonist has to have a wound or some problem that he or she is trying to overcome during the course of the story. When Someone's Watching begins, it's about a year after the end of In Their Blood. Robbie has quit her job as a CPA. She has sold her townhouse in Coconut Grove, sold her car, and she rents an apartment in South Beach, rides a bicycle, and works as a bartender. And she has broken up with Jeremy. Why? Because Robbie has a problem. She doesn't want commitments in her life. She wants to keep things simple. And she's fine with that until a man knocks on her door. A man she hasn't seen in 18 years, when he divorced Robbie's mother and disappeared from their lives. The man, of course, is Robbie's father. And he wants Robbie's help. You see, he has a younger daughter, and she was down on South Beach on spring break with a girlfriend, and the two girls have disappeared. The girl is 18-year-old Kate. She's Robbie's half-sister, a sister Robbie never knew existed. Robbie doesn't want to get involved. Not with this man who turned his back on her, and not with this girl who might also reject her if they ever get to know each other. And then the body of Kate's friend washes up in the creek near where Robbie lives. And Robbie realizes she has to get involved. She has to find this girl who looks so much like she did when she was 18. And so Robbie sets out with Jeremy's help to find Kate, and in the process, her own self. Someone's Watching is billed as a thriller, and it is. It's a roller coaster ride through the glitter and the corruption of South Beach. But to me, it's much more than that. It's a story about family, relationships, and roots. Robbie will confront her father and learn the truth about her past. She'll meet her sister, and she will discover just how important, it's okay, she'll discover just how important Jeremy is in her life when it may be too late to do anything about it. No, I haven't given anything away now. You're saying. Family, relationships, and roots. That's my theme. That's always my theme, because that's what I care about. I believe that we're all composites of how our parents shaped us, of our experiences, and of our friends. So I guess that kind of brings me around full circle, because here I am, digging through my own roots, and revisiting old memories and reconnecting with old friends. So as much as I enjoy my solitude and my Emily Dickinsonian world, the truth is I like this better, a lot better. So, thank thank you, old friends, new friends, family, and I'll take questions. Not from you, not from husband. Okay, I'll give you a second.
I know the answer to.
I'll give you a second to, I went to, yes.
Before you got into accounting,
Yes.
had you wanted to be a writer? Had you thought about it when you were younger, or was that a sudden?
No,
urge?
I think most writers you'll find have always written. I was writing little stories. I found a little blue telephone book, this little tiny blue book where I had started writing little stories about a boy finding a burning bush because I had just seen the Ten Commandments. So, but yes, I've always written throughout college. I minored in English in college, so it's always been there. Yeah. Yes.
Did you do any extra research for the CPA firm, or was it all in your head?
Well, I used to be a CPA.
Right.
And I wasn't that familiar with how things are now, but most of the scenes don't actually deal with any of the technical sides of that, so more of the client interaction. Yes.
What kind of research have you done for this book? I mean, this is completely not your life. So how do you
Well, I had some issues or questions about drug reactions, so I consulted my doctor friend, Dr. Jack Trucken, who advised me. A big source for me, because I don't know the club scene, were my kids. But right, that's right. Who heard from their friends because they were never there. But there's my son is working at a bar now that is patterned at that. I originally used the real name of the bar in the book, and then I thought, nah, they better not, so I changed that. And there's a club on Miami Beach called Live. I have the equivalent, it's in my book it's called Burn. And I didn't risk going there at night, but my daughter showed me all kinds of pictures. Unbelievable what goes on there. And so I wrote the scenes and I gave them to my kids, and I said, "Is this right?" And they said, "How do you know that?" So, yeah. Yes, Lisa.
When we see these stories on the big screen?
Oh, I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll send you an email.
Yeah, you'll be the first.
Yeah, you will be the first. Yes. Yes, Jessica.
Do you think there will ever be a sequel to this book? Someone's watching?
Boy, I don't know. I'm not going to say no. There could be, because you start falling in love with characters, and then you do something else. I just wrote a book that's completely unrelated, but I don't know. I might go back. We'll see. Yes.
When you work with writing about the criminal element of things, do you consult with police people?
I did. Thank you for mentioning that. I met with a detective, and he actually was very helpful, and I enrolled in the Miami Beach Citizens Police Academy, which is, I think, an 8 or 12-week program, just so that I could shoot some guns, see how they felt.
I like that.
But I got a lot of insight into the police department, and I met with the detective, and I went through the plot with him, and he actually came up with some suggestions that I incorporated. Yeah. Yes.
I know on the first book, In Their Blood, you said you had written several drafts and the final was very different than the beginning. Did you have the same process?
I had less time. For those of you who don't know, it took me something like 8 years to get published, and I had written 10 or 11, well, no, I think at that time I'd only written about eight or nine books. And in their blood, I rewrote 7 or 8 times. Just, Jeremy started out as 19 years old in the first book. In the final draft, he's 22, almost 23. If I wrote it today, he'd be 26. But I only had about a year to write Someone's Watching, and I have a wonderful writing critique group who kept me on track. I never worked with a critique group before, but these guys are all published, they all know what they're doing, and we're very tough with each other. So when something was going off track, they would say, that doesn't work. So that helped quite a bit. So really 2 major rewrites.
Will you still be making a book called Appearances?
I will. Oh, it's my favorite book club. My favorite book club is here. That is
You know,
Right here.
we're going to ask you that.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Hi.
Miriam, come, we have a chair for you.
Miriam's come sit. Yes. Oh, she's getting some more.
I met Sharon last summer in Sarasota at a book, a mystery book. I do not write. I'm one of the people who buys everything. And I walked away thinking what a lovely lady, very proper, very soft-spoken, very ladylike. And I went back in my own life and thought, being raised in a convent, that you wouldn't have worn, in my era, you would have worn white gloves and a straw brim to keep the sun off of you. So when I opened the book, I was not prepared for the book itself. I remember that the first one. My mouth dropped open because how could she write that? She can't possibly think that way. That's not the personality I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I have to say it was. I don't want to use the word revelation. Shock would come to me.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
Sharon, everyone's going to buy your book.
Yeah, well, this book, I've already given the bad part away, so you can read it. Okay. Yes, any other questions?
What's next?
Hmm.
You know I always have a thought.
Yeah, well, all I can say is the next book is also about family and relationships, different characters, and I'll tell you more next year when we meet here.
Yeah, we'll be here.
So I thank you all so much for coming. I really enjoyed it.
I'm right behind you.
Well, as you know, we have Someone's Watching and In Their Blood for sale at the counter. And the spots will be sitting over here at the table to my left. And it looks like there's still some receptioning to do at the table. So thank you very much.